Okay, so hope everybody is still seeing my screen.
Yes, we can.
Great. So thank you, Ras. Thank you for inviting me to this, Azure Integration Bootcamp. It is an honor to me in, contributing in this session. So in today's session, I'll be covering how to enable natural interactions using Azure Cognitive Service and also the bot service, and how do we integrate this into Power Platform. Okay, so before I start off with my session, so I will quickly introduce myself. Myself, Devi Kumari Krishna. I'm working as a solution architect with 15 years of industry experience. So these are my different handles. You can reach out to me in this email ID, and I'm very active on LinkedIn. So I also contribute in blogs and whatever sessions I present. I also make some YouTube videos and publish in my channel. Right. So I'm sorry. Yeah. So in today's session, I'll be covering the Azure Cognitive, component Q&A Maker. So I'll be, explaining, what Q&A Maker does, how it helps us, and how are we going to utilize Q&A Maker into our chatbots. So Q&A Maker, as the name goes on, it is a cloud-based natural language processing service. So it helps us to, create a knowledge base which is capable of breaking all our questions and the responses to the questions as a key value pair. So does it work on a human intervention in creating these questions, typing it some in a UI, and then creating a repository of database with these questions and a unique ID for each question? Absolutely not. It helps us to work with all the documents that you have, all the information that you already have. It helps us to collate everything, and it trains itself in breaking them into questions and responses. Okay, so where I use Q&A Maker, why do I use it? I commonly use it to build the conversational client applications where there is a question and there is a response expected for the question. So these kind of conversational custom applications, I use Q&A Maker. So this could include my, social media targeted applications, my chatbots, and some desktop applications where I enable speech. So how does it work? So it helps us to create a knowledge base. The first step is, we will create a knowledge base. We will manage this knowledge base by adding, n number of inputs. It be it a PDF file, be it an Excel sheet, be it a Word document, or you already have a website where, all your question answers are listed like FAQs. So all those inputs can contribute to this knowledge base. So once you add all this information to this knowledge base, then you save this and you train it. So the Q&A Maker helps, it performs some analytics and it stores all of them in a key value pairs. So within the Q&A Maker itself, you will be able to test that. You could run a mock test by posting a question and how the answer is coming up. So how do you know, or I mean, it does not limit in only responding, but it also, makes a scoring for each and every response. Whether it is, the confidence score is 100%, matching with the expected question, or it is a probable answer, or is it a nearest best answer, we will be able to determine with the scoring. So once we have saved and we have trained the knowledge base, so the next step is to publish the knowledge base. So once you will publish, it is all set to use. Now it is up to us on how do we consume this, knowledge base in our chat applications or in our, custom applications. Okay. So when do I go for a Q&A maker? I go for a Q&A maker when I have lot of static information piled up. So I have a website or I have some documents or PDFs which has got a process defined in each and every my document. So all these things I mean can be converted to a question and there could be a response framed. I will take some simple examples for the static information. There is a restaurant, which has got a same menu for, for ages. So I asked, what is your, breakfast meal? What is your, lunch planner? So they have to give me the same information, not only to me, to anybody who's posting the same question to the restaurant, they have to give the same set of answer. So when you have a static information or when you want to provide same set of answer to a request or a question, so we prefer Q&A maker. And it helps us to apply some filter conditions to this static information, bring out a response based on a filtered or predefined metadata condition. All those things are possible. So if I want to build a conversation with this existing static information, absolutely possible. So as I said initially, it doesn't come with its own database with a unique identifier for each and every question. You simply take a unstructured document, just type a question, put a question mark, and start giving answers. It does accept that as well. I will show you a couple of samples which I'm going to use in my today's bot. So we will have some common queries. When you say it is capable of adding some documents to a single knowledge base. Does the knowledge base supports multiple language? So at the moment, a single knowledge base does not support multiple languages. So the system expects that, all I add a PDF, Excel, Word, or a website, all of them, it assumes that whatever component I add first to the knowledge base, it assumes that the rest be in the same language for the better, quality of result. So how does this language help? Where do I use this language? My cognitive search service and my QAMaker service combinedly, they put an effort to identify the best of response, from for the question that has been asked. So the search service of cognitive being the ranker one and the QAMaker being the ranker two, the total summarizes to a best answer. Okay, for this reason, they are insisting that we use the same language at least for the single knowledge base. So in the future releases, they definitely target that this address, this can be addressed. Or at the moment, the recommendation is that I apply a translator service, so that even though my documents, a couple of my documents are aged old documents which is in a different regional language, but I still want to make use of them. So in that case, we could use translator service and then have a common language for all the documents within my knowledge base. Okay, so now here are different components which could make use of the QAMaker. So within Azure, I could build a bot. It is lying on the Lewis language as well as Azure Search. So from Power Portal, I will be able to consume this QAMaker by making a web API call. I could utilize it in my Canvas application. I could utilize it in my PVA. I could use it in my AI builder and also start using it for tracking my sentiments. Okay, could also use it for responding back. Once I understand what exactly the customer wants, I could also use these facts to send out as an email where I don't even have a conversation, just refer to the repository, get the answer, and publish it using a Power Automate to the customer's choice. So here, I move on to the bot framework composer. So all of a sudden, why are you moving to bot framework composer? Because I have seen in QAMaker that though it is capable of defining every question and response to every question from all the semi-structured documents, it is still not capable of giving us image files as a response, or a formatted table, or a formatted form. All those things cannot be rendered. It is all a text-based response from the QAMaker at the moment. So how do I make my bot, more interactive, and how do I add some visualizing components to it? That is where I go to the bot framework composer. So the bot framework composer, it is a very powerful tool. It can directly, interact with the Q&A, or it can be integrated to the Power Virtual Agents in Power Platform, which helps us to, build the chatbots with low code. So here, as I have mentioned, Composer is integrated into the PVAs. We call the Power Virtual Agent in short. It allows the developers as well as the business users, to build or, to build the conversation together. So the Composer lets us to extend the bot with additional capabilities. We could have adaptive cards. So the cards could be a form, the card could be, displaying a menu catalog, or it could be a set of images that I want to display. All those things are possible. The limitations of Q&A basically are taken care in this bot framework. Okay, so now there could be a question. Okay, all these things helps me to, build a chatbot, but why PVA? So the Power Virtual Agent, it is a combination of chatbots and AI capabilities. So now, not only that, it is not facilitating me to, build a chatbot with AI capabilities, but it also helps me to, publish these chatbots into different channels, be it my website, be it my social media. In all those places, I could publish, with a set of connectors and out of box features before, writing, complex code. So how do this PVA help me? It helps me in, continuous learning with the help of scoring models. So all the machine learning are governed by, three different models. One is a guided model, we call it a supervised, and then a unsupervised model, which is completely defined by data. So it identifies some common data and call them as clusters, and then that is one of the category. And there is one more model which is very powerful. It is called as reinforcement model. So almost all the machine language it can be categorized in either of them. So what does a reinforcement does? So first time I ask a question, the bot does not return me an answer, but it does not stop there. So the next moment, I pick up a relative answer. So the bot keeps on training me until, it identifies a, high score or a high confidence score response to it. So learning from their own mistakes, that is called the reinforcement model. And our PVA works using this particular scoring model. That's why, it is very powerful. Okay, as I have mentioned, the Power Virtual Agent is capable of having a multi-channel connectivity. I could connect to Teams, social channels, Skype for Business, and also it has come with its own additional security measures. In-house security contains the web channel security, allow list, and all the authentication governance is available. So not only that, I could extend my commerce applications. I could have my omni-channel in place where, the conversations can be exchanged between the conversation bot and to a live agent. So it is all configuration steps through which, this exchange happens very smoothly and without the end user realizing that, the conversation is getting switched. So then it has come with its own AI capabilities where I could build, based on the responses and I could build some, quality analytics. I could identify, based on the, responses which a bot is returning, could capture the sentiment of the user, whether he's happy with the way the bot is responding. And I could use the sentiments in several ways. Okay. So now I have some set of capabilities in my PVA, but I always want to extend it by using a QAMaker and by using a bot framework. So today I will be focusing more on QAMaker and bot framework on how did I develop some of my sample demos for today. Okay, okay. So without wasting any time, I switch on to my demo. Okay, I'm on my Chrome where I have logged into my QAMaker.ai page. Hope you're still seeing my screen. So here, if you see, I log into QAMaker.ai and I have a create knowledge base. So this is where, I will be creating a Q&A service for us. The moment I click on create Q&A service, I'll be taken to my Azure page. So while it is loading, I have already, opened the service that I had created. So I will be able to, start creating a service right from there, identify the subscription, identify the resource group, give it a name, start the pricing tier. I've Today I'm demonstrating in my trial where I've already consumed one free service that was available. I will be demonstrating using that, but the step is very simple. I just review and create it and the service is ready for me. So the moment the service is available, you could see here. So I come back to my QAMaker where I identify my knowledge base. So under my knowledge base, for the given subscription, I will be seeing a service available. Okay, so this is the service that I have published already. So let me show how the knowledge base looks. Okay, so I have already added couple of components to it. So let me show that in my settings. Yeah, so this is my knowledge base. So it has got a a URL a frequently asked question URL, and I have also added an Excel file to it. I have also added a PDF file to it. So now let us see how this works. Okay, so let me remove these components. Let me save and train. Okay, so now all I have got is about a times rental. Okay, so the moment I save and train, the next step is to publish.
Hello there. Devi, you've muted yourself by accident, I think.
Sorry, I didn't know how it got muted. Hope you're hearing me now.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that. Okay. Okay, so I'm on QAMaker where I'm trying to train my QAMaker with additional set of documents. Okay, so I come to the settings. So this is my knowledge base. So I'm going to add additional files to it. So now I'm going to add an Excel sheet. Okay, I will also add a PDF file. So now I will save and train again. Okay, so these are a couple of limitations. So I could add only 3 files at a time. So let me remove this docs. Maybe I'll remove this Excel. I will add a different file here. Okay, so yeah, we will go with three set of source files. Okay. All right, so I could directly test it here once by posting some questions which is already available in my document. Yeah, you could see that I got a response. Doesn't store data, all customer data is stored here. So this is the response which we have given. So now, yeah, so it looks like it works properly. So let me publish it again. Okay, so now once I publish, every time it gives us this HTTP trigger. So this is something that I could consume anywhere in my custom applications or in my Power Automate queries. So now I will show you how I'm going to consume this in my Power Automate. So I go back to my Power Automate. So I've already created a solution. Let me move on to the cloud flow. So I'm going to open this flow. Okay. So I have initiated a Power Virtual Agent trigger where I'm going to capture anything that the user is going to type as an input. So then I have a couple of variables initialized to capture the response and the confidence score from the Power Virtual Agent response. So I initiate a HTTP trigger. So here I'm going to call the post method and I'm going to bind this information. I'm going to bind the URI authorization content type headers. And in the body, I'm going to tag the input. You could see here, this is the URI that I'm going to use. And these are the, authorization and content type headers. So this is the, question how I mean, this is the format in which it is expecting me the question. So here I'm going to pass, instead of your question, I'm going to pass the user input. Okay, so here this is all set. Now, once I, initiate the HTTP trigger, so the response I'm going to capture in a control. So here you could see, let me go on to the peak code. Okay, so here I'm going to apply to each steps or answer array I'm going to capture, and then I'm going to set these answers to a Q&A response. So not only that, I'm also going to fetch the confidence score which the HTTP trigger is going to give me, and I'm going to assign it to the next variable. So now it is all set. So the next step is very simple. I'm going to bind these response and the confidence score back to a result and confidence score variable. So I will show you some of the samples which has been run earlier on how this data is coming up. So let me open one of the run histories. Okay, so here if you could see, so it is calling the Q&A maker right here. So I have posted a question, can you share sample car models? And it is unable to find any result as part of this. It has returned due to unavailability, a specific model including that is not available. So this is my response. And you could see that the confidence score is very low because I know that I have not satisfied the user's answer, and this answer is not available in the Q&A maker knowledge base. So this is how I will be able to see. Now all I am going to do is I'm going to return this confidence score. I'm going to return this confidence score and the answer back to the chatbot. So I hope others are able to see. Is everybody facing the screen share issue?
We can see a screen. I would advise people who can't see a screen to leave the meeting and rejoin. Thanks.
Okay, so I refresh my chatbot. So I could, I mean, these are the topics. So what are topics? Topics are the conversations that we develop, and these conversations can be triggered so that, it acts like a bot. So this bot can be published anywhere to your website or, to the applications, custom applications. So I've already created a couple of triggers, and there are, predefined triggers that is available like start over, goodbye. The moment you use these keywords, automatically the conversation gets started. So when do I normally go to my biggest FNAQs or my knowledge base repositories? When the available topics or available conversations are not enough to respond back to the user. So we go to the knowledge repository. So every time we call this as a fallback. So I create a fallback step. If all my topics could not respond to the customer, then I always have a fallback that I go to the main knowledge base and the Q&A maker is going to handle all these queries. So for this, I have a setting called system fallback, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to call the topic called fallback here. So we have the fallback topic defined. So within fallback, it is a simple step. All I will do is, every time I get an unrecognized user input, I'm going to call my Q&A maker flow, which we have just seen. So for the Q&A maker, I'm going to pass this unrecognized text input as a key, and Q&A maker is going to result me with a response as well as a score for this response. I'm going to directly show the score to the user. So let's quickly test how this works. Okay. So I have initiated track between topics because it is going to, if there are multiple topics which is available, which is ready to respond, I will be able to see all those topics listed and the user can choose one topic there. So to facilitate this, now I will ask the same question that I had asked here in my doc. Okay, so you could see that it is immediately going and stepping in here, and it is giving me the confidence score as 100 because it knows that there is a direct match to this question and there is a response. Now I will go to other questions that is available in our knowledge base. So this is our knowledge base. I take any question from this knowledge base because it also got the FAQs, what is listed. Okay, so I pick up a random question. Okay, take this question. Okay, there are multiple topics which is trying to respond to this. So it is asking me here what is that I want to use. So I'm going to say none of this, you decide. Okay, so automatically the fallback step is called. You could see that can beginner drivers also rent a car. Yes, no restrictions are placed. So this is the actual response which is available in our knowledge base. It has brought in an actual response, so the score is 100. So now I will ask a partial question to it. Okay, so now it is still able to relate and give me a response, but you could see that the confidence score is less because the bot is giving us the nearest best answer which it could identify in the repository. So there are multiple sources that we had attached. So all of them acts like a single key value pair here from all the sources, or I mean whatever file sources we have added, everything becomes a single knowledge base called Carly's Q&A for us, even though it is about a Q&A maker. So this is the other one that I had added. So let me ask a different question here. So add one more question. Can you share Q&A maker pricing information? Yeah, this is a direct question that is available. So the confidence score is high. Now what I will do, I'm going to, so you can see that, this is completely unstructured document. So I have not given a question number. There is no section identity. So I'm going to add one more question here. So now I have, listed a question and I also have given an answer here. So let me save this document. So this version of document, let us, go and update our knowledge base. So all I do is I come to my knowledge base. Yeah, almost there. Okay, so I click on it. I go to the settings. So here I could see all the, available docs. I simply remove this and then I save it. So yeah, I'm going to add the file now. Yeah, this is the file which we just updated. So I'm going to add this file again. Okay, I save and train again. I've not published it yet. So I want to see whether, my chatbot is going to give any response for this question. So I go back to my virtual agent. I post this question here. Okay, so it has given me a probable answer. Use Q&A maker when you want to manage a bot conversation that includes static information. Something, related to what I had asked. So with a confidence score of 74, it has returned. So now, okay, now I have deleted, I've added a new file. So let me publish. So updating the knowledge base does not, when I'm going to update the same knowledge base with different file sources, it does not involve any changes to the Power Automate flow or any other triggers that is utilizing this web API. So I'm going to I will try putting the question right here again. Otherwise, let me refresh and quickly show how easy it has come on. Okay, see, even a refresh is not required. You can see that the response that we had just typed. Both are excellent tools. It depends on the requirement, has come in with a confidence score of 100. So this is the power of QAMaker. It helps us to build, and it also assists us in utilizing this knowledge base in fraction of seconds. So the admin can simply update the file sources which will be readily available for the end consumers. So now, is this what you have got? No, I want to add, this is all text based. Now I want to see some images or at least a form. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give some trigger messages to see if anything is available. Okay, so let me start over. So the start over is the initial key where, here I'm saying, okay, welcome to Times Car Rental. I'm a virtual agent. How can I assist you? So I'm saying, I want to hire a 7-seater. Okay, so it identified multiple triggers which could help me with this information. So I go on to new trigger. So you could see that, this trigger is from bot composer. So this is a form which is, it is an adaptive card where whatever I'm filling in, I will be able to capture this information. This is a color with a submit action to it. So I'll quickly enter my name. So I'll choose my location. I just wanted to, see, utilize different controls over here so that, I wanted to show that, it is all possible to be consumed. So number of days I need the vehicle, let me say 2 days. So as I said, it's going to be a 7-seater. So the moment I submit, you could see that, hello Devi, we have successfully booked your cab. It is, these are, from the form, how I pass the, information to the messages. Okay. So you could see here, it has consumed the bot framework trigger here. Okay. So now can I have some sample car models. Okay, so again, it has identified multiple, topics that could respond to this one. So to give a bright answer, it is asking me, choose one. So I have used a display core model. You could see that, the core model for lease, and these are the various images, this is a different adaptive card, which is capable of rendering our images. So how do I build this? So I just go to the bot, framework composer, which is available. So here you could see that, once I log in, so this is the same environmental URL with which I log in. So it is capable of fetching all the topics, what is listed in my PVA. I could create, new dialogues from here, or I could, for the existing dialogues, I will be able to add, new triggers to it. I could simply add new triggers. So whatever I have got a car sample, I have got a, test bot. So how do I make sure these changes are also, like QAMaker, how the bot framework composer also readily publishes my information. I'm going to show you by, just modifying a few things. So before I modify, so here, how does it work? So I have a test bot. So I create a new trigger to it. So then I prompt for the text. So if I want to have any user inputs consumed, I will be prompting for a text, and I will, whatever form I have to decide. If I have to just have an input text field, I will go for it. If I have to take a collective information, then I design my method accordingly. So how do I make sure there is a different layout or styling available? So I've come across a useful website which I want to put it in chat now. So I think I have it. Yeah, just put them in the chat here. Okay, not sure I have access to the chat immediately. Otherwise, towards the end, I will be, sharing this information. It has got different layouts which we could see. These are the different layouts. I have a container, the adaptive cards.io. I could immediately test it here how my control is going to look like. So you can see the show card. You can see the open URL. There are different elements where you can visualize, and also they have some sample query which you could directly copy and use. If I have to build a action set, I will just quickly copy this and paste it in my code. So once I have the trigger identified, so where is this function? So I am calling a bot response, and then here is all the code. I just click on show code. I start putting my content here. So this is the adaptive card JSON where the styling elements could be copied from the website which I had shown, and I could start building my elements. Yeah, these are the different elements that I have built on. So similarly, I could have multiple actions and multiple trigger points listed here. So this the image is another card which I had shown you. So here if I have to say I will instead of two-seater, I want to go for a different control. So let me say I want to use a three-seater. I think I have an image URL which is copied already. So I'm going to take this. So my model name is Excella. That's it. So here you have some functions defined and a text which this is a text which will get displayed at the end layout, be it a chatbot or any other chat application. So here is the image that I'm going to call. This is a simple step, and I add a styling element on how it has to get displayed. That's it. So I've made changes now. It is all auto saved. So you see the publish here. So I just come and make a publish. Okay, so let me quickly update my, so here you could see that, there is a warning for the error that I had made. Okay, all done. So, I mean, it is all auto saved as I said. So I simply hit on publish. I'm publishing it to and this is the, bot that I'm publishing. I hit on publish selected bot. Make sure, I'm publishing it to the right environment. So it is always prompting for the credentials again. So let me give it quickly. Okay, all done. So let me take a version number for my publish. Okay, while it is publishing, I go back to my PVA. Okay. Just you could see here, we have this Mazda MX-5 at the moment. So we are going to pose the same question once the publishing is done to the bot. Okay, so the publishing is successful. Okay, either, I could, so if this is off, I mean, every time it will not, identify multiple topics that is able to respond to us. Since I know this is on, we see that, there are multiple responses that could come to us. So let me, post the same message, core models for lease or anything that helps to trigger this for me. Yeah, you could see car lease inquiry. So let me try to do car lease inquiry. Okay, so this is a different trigger. Sure, I can have how many seaters you are looking for. So this captures some text. Okay. So now I want to type the actual message, sample car models. Okay, so it has not yet come. So let me run a refresh. Okay, I initiate the track again. I'll start over. So I'll directly say sample car models. Okay, you could see here that a refresh is required and we are able to see the new published changes from the bot composer. So yeah, it is all very simple steps. It helps us to build a highly interactive bot here. So I am open to more questions. If you want to stop me for questions, otherwise I will keep showing you additional information by publishing this bot. So you could see here when I publish the bot, So it readily helps me to identify the other configuration channels that are possible to configure. So Facebook, my social channels, Skype, everything. So let me just quickly publish here. Okay, so it says in a minute it's going to be available for me. Okay, so after the publishing is done, so it also gives us to visualize. They give us a demo website where I could immediately visualize this. Okay, so whatever we have tested within the PVA, I could also test it here. Okay, okay, 1, 2, 5, C2. Okay. Now I will ask for some topic, from the knowledge base. So let me move on to the knowledge base to identify some queries. Yeah, in the meantime, I could also take from document. Okay, so it is also picking from my fallback. Does Q&A support images? We don't support extraction of images with a confidence score of high. So let me check if it is the right answer. Yeah, we don't support extraction of images, the right answer. So yeah, I'm all, ears for questions further. So I think I've demonstrated whatever, I have planned to demonstrate today. So apart from that, as I was saying, the bot is also capable of interacting with omni-channel agents. So the different channels, what we have to utilize this bot to interact, we could configure these channels under this section. So it could be a website, it could be Teams, it could be our custom website or a mobile application. So these are the supported channels. I know if I configure the channel, I will be able to readily publish my bot in any of these channels. So agent transfers. So this is again a module of customer service within Dynamics 365. Yeah. So when I remove a file in QAMaker, does it remove all the questions related to us? Yes. So the important step is you save the changes and then you have to publish. Then the particular file, question and answers added as part of that file source will get removed. Okay. Yeah, so I could, whenever, I'm publishing it my social channel, so whether sharing is allowed, who are the callers who could, make a call to this bot. So all those security aspects can be configured here. So the various skill set which is required to, initiate this conversation or which the agent has to possess to, to respond to a, transferred question from bot. So those skill sets are categorized here. So if we want to, take this conversation data, pass it to some AI builder for, further analytics. So those capabilities also can be triggered on, by setting the properties from this window. So these are the overall capabilities of Power Virtual Agent. Okay. Russ, I have last 10 minutes, so please feel free to ask me any questions. Unfortunately, I'm not able to access the chat. Yeah, okay, now it is opening up. So now I will give the URLs which I wanted to share.
Hello, thank you. Thank you there once again, Devi. There is a question. So just reading through the questions here. The question here is, when you remove a file from the QAMaker, does it remove all the questions and answers and its trained model?
Yes. It when I remove a file source, I have to make sure that I publish it as I said. So once I publish, it removes all the question and answer pairs that it has created under the knowledge base. I could quickly show that to you. So let me run a refresh. So while it is refreshing, I can take up any other additional questions.
So we have 10 more minutes left for any Q&A. Any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. There's someone with a hand up. Let's see who that is. Okay, so Preston, you have your hand up. Please drop your question in the chat, please.
Okay. So in the meantime, I'm going to remove all the QAMaker related questions. I'm going to remove this file source. So I'm going to save and train. Then we are going to publish it. So my sample file is already open. We are going to ask the same questions that we had asked earlier to the bot. Okay, yeah. The publishing is successful. I move on. So let me ask the same question now. Okay, so you can see that the confidence score has become 0 because it does not know the answer for this question. Hope I answered. Hope I was able to, convey what is QAMaker and how QAMaker is consumed in Power Virtual Agent.
Hi, you did a very good job actually, Debbie. Very good job. Lots of great feedback. Diego Sanchez does have a question. So Diego Sanchez says, thanks, Debbie, for the great presentation. What are the licensing plans required for this?
Okay, so I'll take this question. I will, just put this link on the chat because it purely depends on, let me put it in the chat on the existing Azure model that you have. So, but QAMaker comes with its own pricing model. So I would, request to, take a look on this pricing model defined in Azure website. So a couple of questions which at least, yeah, I was expecting, which, I also asked the same question to bot. So where do the bot, the QAMaker stores our data? So does it actually store all our information or what does it do? So all it does is, it collects all the customer data, the question and answer chat logs that is stored in the region. For example, wherever my Azure subscription is, within that subscription, I store all these things within the dependent service instances. So I don't physically store in any database. I don't make use of this. For example, if I take the information now, I have shown you that I have taken the information from a website. So all the questions about the car rental I have taken from this website, timescare-rental.com. Okay, so these questions are not physically stored anywhere apart from the question answer knowledge base trigger. So if at all I have to store, I need to have the proper governance, and then I will only then I will be allowed to have these questions in my database. Okay. So when to use QAMaker? So, I mean, why should I go for a QAMaker? This is best tool. You had seen that, even the bot composer wanted an additional publish. But if you have lot of static information piled up in the form of documents, for example, if you are a product industry where, your product specific information is all documented, so best is to, add those documents rather than somebody typing it, scanning it. Better add those documents here and QAMaker will take care of the rest in utilizing them in conversations. Okay, and does it support images? As I have told already, it does not support any images. It could only return response in the form of text at the moment. And I also highlighted that, to have same knowledge base with multiple languages, at the moment we are dependent on translator service. Yeah, so these are the questions which I thought, that will be helpful in today's session. Any further questions from anyone?
Thank you, Devi. Yeah, there is one question by Preston. Is there a way to see version from adaptive card?
A version of what?
Yes, good. Preston, if you could just elaborate a bit further, please. Sorry.
Yep.
Lots of great feedback. Coquelin, thanks a lot for a useful session. Satya as well. And Diego.
Right. So I did not get more clarity on the last question. So to summarize, so the current framework, what framework composer that is used is the latest 2.1.2, which is capable of, taking the adaptive cards. So every time you publish the composer or the cards that has been used under any of the triggers or dialogues within this composer, so when you publish, you could define the versions. Otherwise, these publishing profiles all will get stored internally, where you could refer what was the publishing version as well. Internal versioning will always happen, but your comments can also help you track on these versions. Okay, so I flash my connects if there are no further questions.
Thank you, Devi. Yes.
Yeah,
So
please.
there is a question by Diego asking on restoring the previous version.
Mm-hmm.
How is it? I think the question is, how do you restore the previous version?
Restore the previous version. Okay, so yeah. So I don't have to come. You can see here from pull from selected profile. So all these solutions will be published in the folder which I'm going to give here. So the Q&A bot or the test bot. So I go to this place and I could recover the previous versions. So each of these physical file I could also have it maintained in my code repositories, GitHub or anywhere. You see the different sources that is available. So I could keep maintaining them to take out those versions. Apart from this, so, I mean, this is the versioning for the composers. Apart from this, if I come back to my, Power Virtual Agent, so here also, all my components are, maintained under a solution file. So I go here. So anytime, if I don't want these changes, what has been published, I will be able to, go to the previous version from here. So it is versioning is controlled in within the Power Apps, as well as it is also governed within the composer for the created custom components.
Thank you, Devi. Okay, so I believe that's the final question. I believe there's no other questions. Again, a very good use case you've demonstrated here. Thank you for sharing your experiences on this. I don't believe there's any more questions. Everyone seems very, very satisfied. So thank you once again. I know it's quite late. What time is it over there in India today?
It's 9:30 p.m. IST.
9:30 p.m. So it's very late there. So I just want to thank you for joining us at such a late time in India.
No worries, Raj. Anytime. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you once
everyone.
again. Thank you,
Once
Devi
again,
Kumar.
I
Thank
thank
you.
you for this opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Awesome. So Devi's sessions are always really good, actually. I have to say, she really, really takes the time to explain the process very, very well, the ins and outs. And we are now starting the next session in the next 2 minutes. In the next 2 minutes, we will start our next session. Devi, please feel free to share your contact details in the chat, obviously. So your blog and your contact details, just so the community can keep in touch with you. Okie dokie. So we will be starting our next session in 2 minutes' time, and that will be none other than with Satya Kar. Again, Satya has been presenting at the previous boot camps as well, so it's great to have him back this time, and he'll be covering some scenarios with the service bus. So hello there, Satya.
Hi, Raj.
Hello there, Satya. Thanks for joining us at such a late time in India.
No, I'm here in UK, Birmingham.
UK. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Yes, you're working at Capgemini in the UK. I completely forgot about that. Yes. So really good. So Satya, so are you able to try and share your screen?
Yep.
That's it. Yes. So I understand. So yes. So the Capgemini guys have got a very good team. I know you're a colleague of Arpit and
Yes, yeah,
Carl. Yeah. So you've got a
yeah,
very good
yeah.
team. And yes, you've obviously been very busy sharing a lot of some very, very useful sessions in the past events. So thank you so much for joining us today to cover the topic of Service Bus, which is a very popular topic. And obviously you're showing it in the context of CE, i.e. Power Platform Dataverse. And so that's going to be a very, very popular scenario for many people here today. So what I'll do is you're going to start in the next 1 minute. So we've got 1 minute left.
Sure.
So whilst we're waiting, please to share a little bit about like, do you have any hobbies or anything else that you do?
Yeah, I love to play cricket, and after coming to UK, we used to have a team in the Leicester. So from my previous company, there are few colleagues we used to live together in a single apartment. Then over weekend we used to go a lot playing, but after few years, then that has also been stopped. But nowadays I'm spending all of my time with kids, playing tennis with